Daniel Ricciardo has been confirmed. He will not be driving for McLaren in 2023. And some big floor changes coming to Spa. Welcome to the Lights Out podcast. I'm Nick, joined as usual by Ryan. And wow, let's start with the big news that just came out today on Wednesday. And Daniel Ricciardo officially announced he will be not racing for McLaren next year. Maybe is this a surprise, or I don't know, what are your thoughts on this?
I think this is something we all kind of saw coming way earlier, back at the beginning of the summer break here. It wasn't official, but I think after Oscar Piastri and all that drama went down, it kind of was hinting at, Ricciardo's exit, but we didn't know. Had really good guesses. My gut feeling told me he was going to be out at McLaren, and today he officially announced it himself. Zach Brown made a little announcement. Lando had an announcement. Andrea Seidel had an announcement. So yeah,
and
it's
his video he put out, he sounded very dejected. I almost wonder if he was really just kind of hoping that they'd let me finish my contract.
Yeah.
It's my childhood team. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if he gets scooped up by Alpine, or if he maybe, I know Haas has been reaching out to him a little bit, which I really hope Haas re-signs Schumacher. If Ricciardo goes to Haas, let Schumacher go to Alpine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Again, there's still going to be a couple more seats here that have to be filled. The summer break got off to a really crazy start. Slowed way down. People were enjoying their summer break. Everyone enjoyed the summer break, and now it's going to heat up again here. So we'll see. I don't know what the future holds for Ricciardo. I think he'll be in F1 again next year. If he's not, then I don't know. Maybe he goes to maybe he announces his retirement and comes back in a couple of years. Goes and enjoys life a little bit. We'll see. So
maybe he pops up in NASCAR. Who knows?
But maybe he goes to NASCAR. So yeah, I don't think he's done by any means. But
I could see him returning to Alpine. He's worked with them in the past. He knows the engine. It would make sense. If I'm Ricciardo, I don't know how I feel about going to Haas, because Haas, you don't know. They could be super, super good again next year, or they could just be
really bad,
a terrible team again. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's funding. And while we're on the topic of Haas and McLaren, obviously it sounds like McLaren's going to have Oscar Piastri sign in. I'm guessing they're just waiting until it's actually confirmed this time, and he signed before they announce it.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing is Andretti Autosport they just built a massive global factory hub for global racing for them. So it kind of makes me wonder, maybe could we be seeing Colton Herta and Andretti come in? I know Herta was with McLaren. He did some testing with them. But we don't know much about that. They've still been working on that, so we won't have to talk too much about that. But I feel like Andretti's gearing up for something. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does, and see if there's any new teams or anything like that coming in, or what happens, I guess. So yeah.
So yes, so Ricciardo's gone. Let's quickly go over what seats are remaining. We have Mick Schumacher is not re-signed with Haas yet. That is the open spot. The McLaren seat is technically open, but I think everyone knows Piastri will be there. And then Alpine, they have an open spot. And then is it just Yuki Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu, the two others?
Yeah.
Am I missing anyone?
I think so, yeah. I think that's the other two there. Yep.
Zhou, I see him re-signing. He's been having a good year for a rookie.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere, at least this year, or at least next year. I think he'll still be there. 2024, though, could be interesting, but we'll see.
And it sounds like, from what Helmut Marko has been saying over the past few months, that it'll probably be just the same pairing this year for AlphaTauri, and then we could be looking at a completely new crew there after next year.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep an eye on that as it goes. Summer break, really, like you said, it started off just crazy, crazy, crazy. And now it's just, there's been nothing. It was silent the whole summer.
Yeah, it was a lot of rumors and rumblings and stuff like that, but nothing ever really official. And I think that's kind of good, though. I think all the drivers actually took a break, and kind of recharged their batteries and stuff like that. So it's always good to see. It would have been kind of fun to, have it just keep going crazy, but those are at the end of the day, these are people too, and they have lives and stuff like that. And I know they probably couldn't wait to get a month off. So yeah.
Well, and it seemed like all the drivers enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh. But summer break is now over, and we are looking forward to this weekend, the Belgium Grand Prix, Spa. Crazy race. This could be the last race we see at Spa in a long time, potentially.
Just announced, yeah.
So we don't know if they're going to re-sign or if it'll be back. I think they should get it back on the calendar. I think it's a historic track. Keep it on the calendar. But
yeah, I don't know why they would. I mean, I know it's literally just money. It's just money. F1 just wants their money, and which kind of sucks because I feel like it's, how do you take away like a legendary track like that?
And Monaco was on the edge too. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why you take away, like, yeah, I get it, like you want these stadiums and stuff where you can like get a lot of people and get a lot of revenue and stuff, which is all fine and dandy, but it's like you gotta still have some of these like legendary tracks. You can't just scrap them all. It's just kind of absurd,
and it will be tricky.
Hopefully they get something figured out here.
I know they signed that monster deal with Qatar for like 23 through 25.
Yeah. After
not even racing there when they filled in last year. But I want to say with Spa, they were having Formula One itself, the FIA wanted the Spa itself to completely renovate a lot of its runoff areas for safety reasons and whatnot. I don't know if
I did see they
wanted to, because it was supposed to be a huge money. Yep.
Yeah. That updated a little, but yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully Spa makes a return. I don't think it's on the calendar next year. I really hope it's just a 1 or 2 year thing. I think we're going to have some great racing there. Hopefully it's not a 4-hour rainstorm like it was last year.
Yeah. Hopefully you actually get a race this year. So.
That was, I think every F1 fan was banging their heads against the wall.
That was the first time it ever happened, right?
It's very rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
When George Russell podium, he got he got a P2, and it'll be interesting to see how Mercedes does this weekend. We have the new floor rules coming in. It seems like it's focusing on the flexi floor, which I know both Red Bull and Ferrari use quite a bit of, so it could negatively affect them. Although both teams have already come out and said, no, we're not worried about it. It shouldn't make too big of a difference. However, some sources are saying we could be looking at a 0.3 a lap difference, which Mercedes doesn't use that floor because that's when they deal with their too much bouncing. So it will be interesting to see how much they pick up the pace. I know Alpine, and I'm sure some of the other teams are a little worried about it because it suits to the big teams.
Yep, that's I was just about to point out there. I just looked at an article, and Christian Horner was saying that he's kind of like, he's not really worried about it. It's not really going to affect them because they have the funding and the resources to just kind of, not really switch stuff up on a dime, but kind of switch stuff up on a dime. They have the money. Like if something's going to come up, they can just say, okay, let's make this happen, let's make this change. But for like a smaller team, a midfield team, maybe like Alpine or like Aston Martin or Haas or something like that, like then it's kind of troubling because it's like, well, we only have so much funds, we don't really have all this money just sitting here ready to just make a big change like this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after this regulation goes into effect here the second half of the season,
especially with the cap, the spending cap they have this year. It's not always set up the greatest, so that'll be interesting. Part of the reason Red Bull and Ferrari were able to use the flexi floor so much, George Russell was out complaining, or I wouldn't say complaining, but he was saying that they were stretching the rules and whatnot.
Yeah, Mercedes was one of the biggest advocates to get this floor change done too, which is kind of funny. So,
which it is ironic, but I think that's the name of the sport. Is you look at what Mercedes has been doing the past couple of years and all these other teams. It's the name of the game is to stretch it, but I just hope that this doesn't cause issues. I think part of the reason Red Bull isn't too worried about it was they never had porpoising issues to start, so they don't have to put in funds to solve that. But who knows what's going to happen with some of the smaller teams as we get closer to the end of the year. and maybe we don't know what the pace gap. Alpine hasn't been too far at the pace, but if this new floor hurts them, I mean, we could be looking at a little midfield shakeup too.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the season here. It'll be interesting, yeah, because Alpine really hasn't been that far off. Like they've had a solid season, so it'll be interesting to see if it affects, like who it affects and how it affects.
They've been very close with McLaren, yeah.
Yeah.
And Haas has been slowly kind of sneaking their way up in the points more and more. They have a tiny budget. Is this going to screw Haas over? Are they going to start tumbling back down again? I believe Aston Martin still has their new rear wing.
Yeah.
With a little controversial edging and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how that goes too.
Kind of a weird looking shape, but yeah.
And then as we continue on, so there's that. I believe that's the only rule changes. And so yeah, I mean, what are you thinking? What are some of your predictions for this weekend? We've got last race. I don't think it's looking like it's going to be too rainy. Let me pull up the weather here.
Yeah, rain, pending rain, I think. Let's see here.
Hopefully it's not too terrible.
Yeah, pending rain, I think, well, even if there's rain, I think Max, P1, I think he continues his dominance. I would love to say Ferrari 2 and 3, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. I'd say Leclerc top 3, like 2 or 3, somewhere in there. Then maybe a Mercedes in like second or like fourth place. I don't know. It's kind of hard, especially with these new regulations coming in. I think Max will win the race. I think he'll be P1. I'd like to say Charles P2 or P3, but after their season that they've been having so far, it's hard to kind of just come out and be like, oh yeah, I think, even if he's energized, even if Ferrari as a team, went back and like, recharge their batteries, it's hard to come out and say like, oh yeah, they're going to get P1, P2 right away. Like, I don't think they can just flip a switch overnight. Be awesome if they could, but I mean, hopefully maybe they talked about some stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I think it'll be a good race either way.
It's looking like a little bit of rain for qualifying potentially, and then a dry race on Sunday.
Okay.
So that'll be good. Yeah. Ferrari's going to be interesting to see. They need to start winning.
Yeah, they need to basically win out, honestly, like next nine
they
races.
Do, yeah,
they really can't. They have no air at all. Zero. They had no air at the beginning of the season. They really have none now. So if they want to... I did see an article today, too, though, that came out. It was talking about how Ferrari still is not going to implement like team orders yet. They're still like wanting to... I think it makes it very clear. It was on F1, the .com, the app.
Yeah, their official.
Their official statement. I can't remember who said it exactly, but they're saying it's still. They're fighting for team. Like they want to maximize team points, which I think is just showing you that they don't care about driver championship this year. I think they know it's kind of gone, but team-wise, I think they feel like they can still win that. So
an 80-point lead is what Leclerc is behind, and Max has been driving, in my opinion, better than he did last year, in a more calm. Professionally, he's been calmer, he's been scarier. Just overall, he's been much faster, in my opinion. And so 80 points, and that's going to be tough to pull. Could Sainz potentially beat Leclerc? He's only 22 points behind.
Yeah, he could. I think Sergio Perez could still beat Leclerc. Russell could. I don't know. I think the top 6 still, like other than Max, I think Charles through Hamilton is really up for grabs, to be honest. I mean, anyone. Hamilton is P6 right now with 146 points. But like another 1 or 2 Ferrari mishaps or DNFs, again, mechanical failures, and 1 or 2 more good races, Hamilton, he's been on an absolute tear. He could be in second place at the end of the year. Like, it's crazy. The top 6, really, other than first place, is really back and forth. And Russell's only 2 ahead of Sainz right now. So... We'll see. Russell has 158 and Sainz has 156. So, yeah, one bad race for Sainz even to start the year, and he could be P6, or this is not the year, the second half of the season. So, it could be interesting,
It'll be very interesting. I'm looking at the power unit elements used right now, And it's looking like, I know Max and Checo both took a new turbocharger in Hungary, which was part of the reason he had that charge. I think Verstappen's going to be scary with that new power unit, basically. Yeah. And but looking at this, George Russell is the only person. Let me double check, Carl. Yeah, George Russell is the only person of the top 6 who still has some unused power units without taking a penalty.
Interesting, yeah.
So I think that's going to cause a shakeup in that group of 6.
Oh yeah.
Is that going to be one of those things where Hamilton might take a penalty? Let's look at the races here. Maybe in Japan or USA or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
George Russell
or
very
Brazil
well
again.
Like Mercedes really, it's funny because Mercedes really they haven't had a terrible year, honestly. They really haven't. It's just compared to their history, it's been terrible. It's been a rough year. But like, really, if this was any other team, we'd be like, holy crap! Like, this is a fantastic year. I mean, what do they have? Lewis Hamilton has 6 podiums in a row? 6?
Something crazy like that. They've been outscoring Ferrari the past couple of races.
Yeah, exactly. And people are saying like this is a bad season. Like, I would take 6 Ferrari podiums in a row right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is they're really in it. It doesn't show. I don't know. Like, the first couple races of the year kind of, I don't know. There's some outliers there. I think they're still working out their new car and all that stuff. But like, I really think Mercedes could still be, fighting for second in the Drivers' Championship. I mean, constructors wise, they could easily get second still. Like, they're only 30 points behind Ferrari, so like they're definitely not out of it by any means.
I think
it's still wide open.
I would say Ferrari has a better car right now. We'll see what the the new floor issues do. If maybe that'll bring the 2 top teams a little bit closer to Mercedes. Yeah. But Mercedes hasn't put a foot wrong on strategy, on drivers. They've been driving
a very
well.
Solid year.
They've been very. I don't think they've had any mechanical DNFs or any of that.
I think they've had 1 DNF the whole year, and it's been George Russell, and it wasn't a DNF. It was because he got out of his car to help Joe. In the crash. Like,
he crashed there. Which it looked like he had his wheel was broken off. I don't think he would have been able to continue that race. But
he did take damage, but
he was trying. But George Russell is going to be very interesting to see. Hamilton's been showing he is the stronger driver, I think, between the 2 of them. He's ramped it up. But with Russell having those power unit parts, I mean, maybe he takes those in Italy, in Monza. Mm-hmm. It's a free change. He gets towards the front of the grid. Could that be a first win? Could Mercedes win in Monza?
In Monza, I could see that. That could very well be.
That gives them a couple of races. So. It gives them 2 more races for Verstappen's engine to kind of start slowing down a little bit, for them to tune it down a little bit from taking his new one in Hungary. And then, boom, Russell comes through, no engine. He takes that the rest of the season, pushes forward. I think the top 6, barring Max, I think Max is in a confident position, and something has to go wrong. Something has to go seriously wrong for him.
Yeah, his car has to explode. And I apologize, it's not 6 in a row for Hamilton. 6 podiums on the year, 4 in a row, though. So
okay, yep.
Just a crashing, though, so it's not like false information. But so
the
4
other question
podiums
is,
in a row, 6 on the year, though, which is still pretty dang good.
Ferrari has been able to beat Red Bull this year. They've been faster at times.
Yeah.
And so the question is, if we have 6 drivers going for wins, maybe Max misses a podium or 2. Could that bring Leclerc maybe into this? But at the same time, if we've got 6 guys fighting, who knows?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It should be wild. It should be wild second half, I think. I really do.
I'm confident Ferrari will have fixed their strategy issues going into the second half of the year. Yeah. I think if they don't, someone's head is going to roll at the end of the season, whether it's Binotto or somebody else.
I agree.
Something's got to change. Something's got to change there. So
I totally agree.
I think Spa is going to be a very interesting thing. This is what, at the start of the year, Toto Wolff said, by the time we go to Belgium, we will be fighting for wins. Well, he's been right on the money. That's accurate. I think they have a chance, especially with this new floor. If this new floor regulation is an actual 3/10 a lap, they're in contention for wins, which makes things very interesting and exciting. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, power units are looking, everyone but Russell they're going to take a penalty this year. Yeah. I would be surprised. They're going to take a penalty or they're going to get a DNF. Simple as that, in my opinion. But looking down at the midfield now, so we have the McLaren Alpine battle. I think that'll stay tight. That one's so much fun to watch. Hopefully Ricciardo does well the second half of the season. It'd be nice for him to give the other teams a reason to sign him.
Yeah.
And then if we continue down, I mean, we've got who else?
Alpha and Haas.
Alpha
there.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo's kind of up there, but they've been, I swear they've kind of been up and down this year. They've been solid, and then all of a sudden they're not getting points.
That's another Ferrari engine kind of deal with them this year, really. I don't think they've really, other than Joe's DNF, or like his crash, I don't really think they've had like any driver errors, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's all been mechanical, which
Bottas has been loving having a multi-year contract.
Yeah. Yeah,
one of the first times he's ever had that.
Yeah. So,
and Haas is my team to watch this weekend.
Yeah.
With
it's gonna be interesting.
They had their new upgrades in Hungary.
Yeah.
So the question is, now it's always that 1 week. The first weekend, you don't really know how it's going to go. Magnussen got put on the hards in Hungary. That didn't work out for him. I don't know if Schumacher's going to be getting the upgrade package this weekend. I hope he does. If he doesn't, I think we're going to see an actual pace difference with this upgrade package to see what the difference is. But I also think they have a chance. They have a chance to score some points.
Yeah. I think they've been solid all year long, I think, other than, again, another Ferrari powertrain. Just some unlucky DNFs here and there. Some driver errors, not a lot, though, either, again. So that's the thing. Yeah, they're right up there. I think if some luck here and there, I think they could easily be in 6th place too, like Alpha and those guys, or at least closer, maybe like 40 points or something like that, 45 points or something. So
I think the battle for 6th place is definitely on. I think Aston Martin could easily start sneaking up there. Yeah. They've been looking better. I'm telling you, man, they've been looking better and better. I've been saying it. Watch them too. Yeah. Their new rear wing that they've been running. We'll see if they keep getting to use it or not. We'll see how the new floor they've got. They're dumping money in. They've got the budget of a big team right now, honestly, with Stroll.
Exactly.
So maybe this helps them. Yeah. And then there's Williams rounding out the bottom of the grid.
Yeah.
Again, I think Latifi hasn't signed either. We forgot about that one.
Oh, yeah, Latifi. It's hard to remember that, the Go-Tifi there.
It'll be interesting there.
I don't see him. Man, and that's the thing, though, is because, like, now that summer break is come and gone, I was so positive. I think in our last podcast, I said something like I bet like $100 or something, like something that he's not going to be there, and he's still there. Nothing's been said at all. They've been super quiet. They did not say a word other than them re-signing Albon, and that's the only thing that I still kind of believe that he's not going to be there. Is they re-signed Albon, and there's no rule in the book saying you have to sign both your drivers at the same time on the same day at the same hour. But when they re-sign Albon for multi-year contract, but they don't say anything about Latifi, it's still kind of wonder, is he going to be there? I don't think he's going to be there. But
what I'm curious to see, F2 has their triple header. If Logan Sargent along with F1, if Sargent pulls in some results, and if he looks good in that F1 car in Circuit of the Americas, maybe they pull him up. Yeah. Get an American in there. Again, I don't want them to rush that, but that could be an option. So summer break is over, but we've still got a long ways to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So it'll be interesting to see if Albon continues. He's had some good finishes this year. I'll see if he can have a good. And that's the thing too. Maybe they didn't announce anything because maybe they're giving Latifi the second half of the year. I mean, if Latifi comes out in the second half of the year and gets a P10 finish,
and he's shown flashes,
anything
we saw him in Silverstone.
So exactly, and then was that Silverstone in Hungary, like the fastest lap, granted practice, whatever, but still, like if he does that and he does it more consistently, then you are kind of wondering, do we let go of him or do we keep him?
Historically, he hasn't been a terrible driver. It's just this year he hasn't adapted well. Yeah. So with Q3 in Silverstone, he had the fastest first sector in Hungary until Q3. So he does have potential. We'll see though. Yeah. But let's end here with your predicted podium. What do you see?
Podium. So I said earlier, but I wasn't really sure. I'm gonna go with a Max P1. Charles, I'm gonna say P2, and I will go with a Hamilton P3. That's what I'm gonna do. And I think Perez probably, he's gonna be up there P4. He could very well be P3 too.
So you
Perez,
have Max,
Russell, and then Sainz or something like that. So
Max, Leclerc, Hamilton is your top 3.
Yes. Yep.
And then round out your bottom 5 one more time.
So then I'll do it's Max, Leclerc, Hamilton. Then I'll do Perez, Russell, Sainz. So that's that's top 6 there.
Top 6, yeah. We'll do
those
top 6.
Those 3, Perez, Russell, Sainz, could all very easily be interchanged.
I'm gonna go.
It'd be hard to see Sainz getting P6 if he doesn't DNF or have a mechanical failure. I don't know why he would be in P6 other than a Ferrari error again. But I just think with how stuff's going, I think he'll have a good race. It's just he's not going to finish top.
I'm gonna go with a bold one here. So P2, I'm gonna put Max. I'm gonna agree with you on Hamilton on P3, Leclerc P4. But I think this is a bold prediction. And it's honestly, it might be a little bit more of a hope than anything. But I'm gonna go Sainz P1.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Sainz pulls out a win here. He's been looking better as the season goes on. He's been pushing form. He's been up and down a bit, but he's been saying he's happy. He had a great summer break. I think Sainz is gonna come back, and then I'm gonna round out with Perez and then Russell P6.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see.
I could see. That's the thing. I could see Sainz. I don't want to. I put him P6, but he could be anywhere. But I really believe it's going to be Hamilton. Hamilton and Max, I really don't see changing. Charles, that's such a toss up with
my brain's telling me go with Max. Max is going to win it, and I'd love it if he would. But at the same time, I feel like Sainz is going to pull a little shocker, and I feel like Mercedes
if he does, that's
might
good.
Be a little bit better again.
It'd be good for Ferrari. So.
But I think it's going to be close. I think the top 6 are going to be very close.
Exactly. I think it could very well be interchangeable with all those guys. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. In my heart too, though. Yeah, in my heart, I wanna go with my heart and say Charles is gonna win, or Ferrari's gonna have a 1-2, or they're gonna have a good weekend. But I think in my head, I know it's Max has been pretty unstoppable this year. So if he's not getting P1 this race, he's podium. I don't see anything unless something drastic happens. So
which you never know.
Yeah.
The crazy things have happened in the past. Yeah. So we'll have to see. But that will conclude our weekend preview. I hope everyone enjoyed listening, and we'll see you later on this weekend after qualifying and the race.